everybody, this is your favourite and most suspicious comrade Bobby. I've got something all over me already. Get ready for more of that in a second. Vegan Katsu curry with aubergine. The first thing about Katsu curry is there's a lot of rice in it. I think rice is a very simple thing to get right, but it's often not done right nonetheless. This isn't mine, but I'm going to cook it anyway. Empty saucepan. We're going to measure out a cup of rice. You usually get about twice the amount that you measure out dry and wet. It's probably like 1.75 times the amount. And we're just going to get our clean hands in here. And we're going to swirl it around. The water goes lovely and cloudy. By a moonlight shadow. We're going to use 1.5 times the amount of water by volume to cook the rice. So we did a cup of rice. There's already a bit of water left in there. I'm just going to put 1 cup in there. The rice on the hob. You need a pan that has a tight fitting lid. Ideally one that doesn't have holes in. This one has the tiniest little hole and I think it's kind of fine. What I do sometimes when they have bigger holes is I'll get thumbtack or similar and then you can stop the steam or essentially the water escaping and get the right amount in there. I'm going to put this on a medium heat. I'm actually going to leave the lid off for a moment just so I can see. We're going to wait for it to come to the boil, then we're going to turn it down really low, keep it covered and leave it for 10 minutes. Should we make the actual katsu? My understanding is that katsu actually means breaded. A lot of people can confuse katsu for meaning the Japanese curry sauce. They'll talk about like curries that don't have something that's breaded in them, that kind of Japanese or Chinese style curry sauce as katsu, which is incorrect. The complicated part of it is actually making the breaded something. We're going to use aubergine today. This is a really sad looking aubergine, but that's okay. I like to buy those boxes from Lidl if you live in the UK. They're like £1, get all the vegetables and stuff in them are pretty sad, but such is life. Aubergine, kitchen knife that I've just sharpened. And we are going to top and tail. And then we go for slices that are about 1/2 centimetre. This kind of thickness. You do that for the whole aubergine. It's a brighter day, it's a brighter day. Don't be a twat like me and leave the sticker on it. So you can imagine now what this is going to look like on top of rice. So breading in a vegan manner is obviously slightly different from breading because you would usually use eggs. I've been full vegan for about 3 years. If you've watched Star Trek Discovery and seen the story arc with the tardigrade, we're all peripherally aware of the way that animals are treated in dairy farms, egg farms, meat, blah 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 blah. Everybody is peripherally aware of that and we all make a decision about whether it fits with our ethics or not to consume meat and dairy and eggs and stuff. I'm definitely not the sort of person who would try and convince someone else to go vegan because I know that other people trying to convince me to go vegan did not work. But then watching Star Trek Discovery and seeing the tardigrade looking really sad about being captured just made me feel really guilty, and literally like overnight I stopped eating animal products. For the most part didn't look back. I have in my fridge something I made earlier. Look at this stuff. This is aquafaba. This is homemade aquafaba. I make a lot of stuff with chickpeas. I buy these huge bags of chickpeas and you soak them overnight and then you boil them for 3 years. Do the right stuff with the water afterwards. You can get this glutinous mess. I stayed at my sister's house for a little while at the beginning of lockdown. I made something with chickpeas and I kept the aquafaba in the fridge and she threw it out because she thought it was gone off. It looks like it's gone off. It's disgusting. But so are eggs. So what we're going to do is we're going to drench the aubergine in flour. You can use any flour you want. If you want to use gluten-free flour, that's absolutely fine. What flour do I have today? I've got almond flour. Is almond flour sweet or is it... Oh, that rice is boiling. Now that the rice is at a boil, da-da-da, lid on completely, temperature turned right down. Let me just taste this almond flour. I've been living in a lot of other people's houses recently. I am homeless, technically homeless, but I have a lot of good friends and I know a lot of kind people. That's kind of sweet. I'm not going to use that. I got cornstarch and I got plain flour. I'm going to use cornstarch. The person whose house I'm living in at the moment is never coming back. I'm helping them move abroad by packing up all their possessions and shipping them to New Zealand. So understandably, shipping their food is not super necessary, and you will see that as a theme recurring. So cornstarch, I had a choice between cornstarch and plain flour. Personally I like cornstarch because it's super fine, but it tends to stick to things you want it to stick to really easily. We're going to start with flour that I just talked about. Then we're going to do our egg aquafaba, and then finally we're going to do breadcrumbs, and we're going to mix sesame seeds as the breadcrumb. They happen to have some black sesame seeds. I would probably recommend using white ones. They're a little bit more flavorful. I don't have any breadcrumbs or any bread. I recommend using panko breadcrumbs. What I have in the house is Ritz crackers. Look at them. They come in a little bag ready to be made into breadcrumbs. I've never done it with Ritz crackers before. Should be quite nice because they're salty. So I just have to be careful to reduce the amount of salt in the rest of the recipe accordingly. It's a brighter day. It's a little bit like panko. Can work with that. I am not going to make the curry sauce from scratch. I have made the curry sauce from scratch in the past, and it's fine. I've tried lots of different recipes online, but frankly, this stuff, which you can pick up in any supermarket, that's the rice finished. So rice is coming off the hob. I'm just gonna put this somewhere. It just needs to sit. If you want to peek, it should look. It looks perfect. Yeah. Perfect and steamy. But it likes the rest. This is paste. You can buy it in blocks as well. I like to add an onion into the sauce. If you don't like onions, you can skip this part. And what will happen when I cook these is these little bits will kind of like fall apart naturally anyway. That's going to be really yummy. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to start from your left to right because the hob is here. And we're going to go flour, aquafaba, breadcrumbs, and then frying pan. Obviously you have a choice of oil when you are frying anything. I like to use, for this particular recipe, canola oil or vegetable oil of some description. You don't want it to add any flavour, but you do want it to not smoke and you want it to cook evenly. We are drenching in aquafaba, which sticks really nicely because that corn flour is so fine. Press into the breadcrumbs. Oh yeah, that looks good. They don't need to be super heavily coated. Yeah, that's sizzling a little bit as I put it in the pan. I'm going to fill the pan. I think that's probably going to be more than enough aubergine for a serving for 2 people, if the breadcrumbs allow me to do so. Oh my god, it smells so good already. 2, your eyes, and I'm going to realize it's a brighter day. It's a 3. I'm raging on a Sunday, not to confess, fuck it, worry about it someday. Doctors in the crowd, cause they're looking pretty thirsty. The breadcrumbs and the flour do a little job of protecting the aubergine from absorbing the oil, which should keep it somewhat juicy in the middle while still cooking it. 4. I hope that you can see that I'm making do and still making good looking and tasty food. Having eaten a vegan diet for quite a while, I've picked up amending flavours and taste and things like this isn't salty enough, or this could do with vinegar, or this could do with sweet or umami, whatever it is that's missing. So these are about maybe 3 or 4 minutes on each side. You probably want them to look a little less blackened than my ones. If I were to venture an opinion, I would say that probably Ritz crackers cook faster than breadcrumbs. I might read a Jamie Oliver recipe for something. Use these fancy potatoes and fancy... I get it that people are advocating for sourcing your ingredients from responsible places. I do think there's lots of ways to be responsible. One of those is what I talked about briefly earlier, trying to use up the food waste that's going to come from supermarkets. I thought this recipe would be a great thing to do because it's something that people enjoy. But I also knew that I didn't have breadcrumbs in my cupboard. These bad boys are cooked. I'm going to leave the hob on because I'm going to use it again in a second. I'm actually going to use this same frying pan in a second. I'm going to use a little bit of kitchen roll to stick them on. If you have a spare dishcloth, I think a clean dishcloth would be much more ecological. Bloop! A little bit more brown, a little bit less black. So we got a mucky pan. I'm not going to let this pan cool down. If I wash it, it's going to cool it down. This bad boy a wipe. Get rid of all those delicious burnt bits in the bottom. Also burn my fingers. We're not super focused on the level of smoke this time. We're much more interested in flavour because we're making a sauce. Whatever oil we use to cook the onions is going to end up inside the food we eat. Oh, this kind of stir fire oil. Da-da! Which is like a mix of sunflower oil, sesame oil and ginger oil. I like sesame oil. I couldn't find any sesame oil last time I was shopping. I'm going to try and leave them alone as much as possible for a second. Try and get blackness on them. Black bits is where the deliciousness comes from. I'm going to warm up the plate. There's a few ways you can warm up the plate. One of the ways is by running it under hot water. You can also put it in the grill on a really low temperature. You can also put it in the microwave. What a shame would it be, right, to get your lovely, delicious, hot, steaming rice and curry sauce and then plonk it on a cold plate so it's cold in a second. Let's not do that, huh? These are my leftover aubergine, by the way. They're not going in the bin, they're going to go in the fridge. I'm going to make nice things with them later. Oh my god, look at that. That's what we want. That like beautiful blistering. That's not burn, it's like brown. Oh my god, it smells so good. This is a terrible utensil to use to do this. So for me, the onions add a little bit of texture, they add a little bit of taste. Like I said, entirely unnecessary. You can add whatever the fuck vegetables you want in here. In fact, fuck it, that curry paste stuff is so cheap and it's so delicious. You don't have to make katsu. The breading is complicated, it's fun and it looks fancy, but at the end of the day, you're just adding some delicious carbs into what is already like a really carby meal. It's mostly rice. Delicious rice. Oh, let's talk about rice. Ba ba ba! We have a perfect rice. It's kind of fun to form your rice. I've got like these little dipping situations that I like to use to scoop my rice up, and then we're going to get like a lovely mound where we put it on the plate. This rice is really plain. Usually, if I wasn't making a curry sauce, I might season it. Good seasonings include vinegar, brown rice vinegar. It's nice. Soy sauce. Mirin, if you're feeling really fancy. Mirin is delicious. And it adds like a nice sweet but not too sweet situation. I forgot to mix sesame seeds in with my Ritz crackers. They're going to go on here. That's cute, huh? A bit of a side salad. I have rocket, which isn't super authentic, but whatever. Any kind of green leaves you have some pickles. Pickles go really nicely with this as well. It's just kind of a foil to the richness of the sauce and the density of the rice. I make my own salad dressings. If people are interested, I will do another video on making salad dressing. This is one I made earlier. This is rice vinegar, cider vinegar, mirin, low salt soy sauce, ginger, garlic. I tend to freehand taste it and see what I like. Onions good. It's not just about what it tastes like, it's about what it smells like, it's about the textures. You want crunchiness in there. Oh my god, that smells so good. You want heat, maybe like a little bit of spice. This particular curry paste is quite mild. If you like it spicier, there are more spicy versions. You don't want it to fucking fall off your plate because it's basically made of liquid. I like to make sure there's kind of like a vinegary flavour in there as well, which actually I should get from the salad dressing. We've got everything we need right here, folks. This is just water, by the way, that I'm pouring in. This is curry paste and water. That's literally it. It's so easy. There are loads of recipes for how to make this kind of curry online, and they are a bit of a faff, and I just don't. When the ready-made one is so easy to make and so fucking delicious, I don't know why you would do it. That looks like a good thickness for my preference, so I'm turning the heat off. Out of the 6 slices of aubergine, we have 3 on here. I was probably a little bit generous with the rice, but it looks fucking good, right? And straight from the frying pan. Oh yeah, I love the look of that. Fuck it, I'm gonna use all of it. Because the curry sauce is so easy, my second portion, let's just make more of it. Fuck yeah! Salad dressing. You can see the actual like chunks of onion and garlic that's in this onion. Bit of rice, bit of aubergine. That is what dreams are made of. And this is just the freshness that you need to really like fully enjoy the richness without being overwhelmed by it. I might have this with a tea. At the moment it's quite hot here, so maybe an iced tea. I actually have an iced tea to hand, as it so happens. Something else that's really easy to make at home. Thank you for tuning in. I super appreciate it. If you enjoyed my video, like and subscribe. I imagine this video is going to have a lot of editing done to it with the help of my amazing friend Dolly Mixtures, who also makes videos doing customizations on dolls, and I didn't know I was interested in customizations in dolls until I saw them do it, because it's so fucking clever and so incredible. Can you hear that crunch? Thanks again, folks, and hopefully see you soon. Take care. Bye.